If you're interested in seeing how I made this project, you can head on over to my Patreon where you can see the full 1 hour time lapse as well as a breakdown video on how I created it. You can also download high resolution renders and work in progress shots. Hey, what is up guys, Jake here and welcome back to another video. Now today I'll be showing you how I created the ground material, the grass and this land, because one of the problems that I was having when creating this scene is I couldn't have a procedural grass texture and an image texture. So I'll be showing you how I went about doing this and solving this issue. So as you already saw, I basically have two planes with two different textures. That was the only way I was able to find out like a workaround for this issue. I'm sure there's another way, but I haven't found a tutorial on it, so I'll just be sharing my method with you. So the problem that I first had is that I couldn't have an image texture for, say, the farmland and a procedural texture with the stylized grass, because the method I was using was just screwing up with the textures. I tried a lot of different methods. I even tried using a mix shader to try and like have my image texture on the for the ground, and then having the stylized grass shader mixed in, and then have an alpha trying to mask out which area is which, but that ended up not working because the alpha was screwing with the grass cards. So in this first image you can see this was my first attempt. The whole ground was just an image texture, and then I just had grass cards with different shades of green to try and mimic the effect that I wanted, but it worked kind of, but it's not what I wanted. And as you can see here, this was the image texture that I was using. So basically the idea is I want all the brown parts, which is the ground, to be the image texture, and all the green parts to be the procedural texture. So what I did is in Substance Painter, I just exported a roughness map with extreme values on both ends. So anything that was ground that I wanted to be like the image texture would be white, like stark white. And then all the grass would be black. So here I basically have my ground. As you can see, it's just one plane, and that I put my image texture on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate my plane, and on one of them, I'm gonna import in that roughness map, which basically had the alpha mask. I'm going to plug in a color ramp just to be able to adjust the values. Plug that into the alpha channel, and if you're using the Eevee render engine, you're going to have to go into the material properties and make sure that you put it to alpha blend. It's the one that I found that worked the best. And that way, you successfully masked out your ground, like all the dirt. Now on the second plane, you're gonna go ahead and assign the grass material that you want to do for the stylized grass shader. So here I'm following a tutorial by Pierrick Pico. I'll link it in the description so you can do the exact shader that he's doing. So basically you want your grass card and your grass ground material to have basically the same material. Then you just have your alpha mask, which is basically the grass strands, to be plugged into that material. And since your plane and your grass are sharing the same material, you want to make sure that the UVs of the grass plane is small enough to just fit into the alpha mask, just so you can have the color. You don't really need the UVs, you just want to have a flat color. And now as you can see here, I have the base for my grass shader as well as my ground, and that way I can add in all the color variations and all the grass particle systems to blend together nicely with the ground. So after you have this base on, you can just follow along the tutorial as usual with no problem at all. I hope you guys found this video useful. When I was trying to do this on my own scene, it was a real struggle trying to find a tutorial that would cover this issue, but I was unsuccessful in trying to find one. I know that Blender has vertex painting, which would be the optimal way to go about this, but I didn't know how to set it up properly, and there were no tutorials that showed how to set up vertex painting materials, so this is honestly just the best way that I found to go about this. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.